Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. This time, we're looking into something pretty amazing,
Yeah.
predicting volcanic eruptions.
Oh.
And get this, we might be able to do it by measuring helium levels?
Helium. Really? That's
Sneaking it in.
helium.
Huh, I never would have thought of that.
It's wild, right?
Yeah.
So, what are we looking at today to help us break this down?
Well, we've got a really cool scientific article that gets into all the nitty-gritty details.
Okay.
And then we have a news report that focuses on this brand new portable helium sensor.
Oh, cool.
And they've nicknamed it He-Man.
He-Man.
Okay, I love it.
I know, right?
All right, so how does helium even come into play with volcanoes?
Okay, so deep underground, you've got magma, that molten rock.
Right.
And as it rises up towards the surface, it releases all sorts of gases. And one of those is helium.
So the helium acts like a warning signal.
Exactly.
Like a canary in a coal mine.
Perfect analogy.
So by measuring the helium, scientists can kind of get a sense of how much magma is moving around down there.
Yeah, and how close it's getting to the surface.
And that's where this He-Man sensor comes in.
You got it.
It can measure the helium levels right there on the volcano.
It can, and this is what's so incredible about it.
Okay.
Before He-Man, scientists would have to collect samples of gas, send them off to a lab, and it could take weeks to get results.
Wow.
He-Man can give readings every 20 seconds.
Every 20 seconds. That's got to be some seriously advanced tech.
It is. It is. Without getting too technical, He-Man uses a special membrane that only lets helium through. It then traps those helium atoms and measures how much is there.
But how did they get this thing to be portable? The source said it took like 20 years to develop.
Yeah, they figured out how to make the membrane's permeability temperature dependent.
Okay.
So by taking two measurements at different temperatures, they can calculate the baseline level of helium directly.
Yeah.
And that makes the sensor self-contained.
So that's the breakthrough.
That was the key.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's really a brilliant piece of engineering.
So they figured out miniaturization and made it field ready.
Exactly.
Huge win for volcanologists.
Absolutely.
But you mentioned another new helium sensor being developed.
I did. Researchers at the University of Nebraska are working on an even smaller device.
Oh, wow.
It's called a MEMS sensor, microelectromechanical device.
Okay.
And it's incredibly sensitive to helium.
Interesting. Why is that?
Well, it all comes down to how helium affects temperature changes.
Wait, helium can do that?
It has to do with thermal conductivity.
Okay.
Helium conducts heat differently than air.
Gotcha.
So this MEMS sensor can detect even the tiniest amounts of helium.
Wow, so it's like it has a sixth sense for helium.
Haha. You did say that.
That's incredible, but what could we even use that kind of sensitivity for?
Well, in addition to predicting eruptions,
Right.
it could be incredibly useful for detecting leaks.
Leaks? Like in
Well,
what?
think like nuclear waste storage facilities.
That makes sense.
Even a tiny leak there could be catastrophic.
Yeah, so being able to detect leaks that small could prevent some really bad things from happening.
Absolutely.
That's a big deal.
It is. It is.
But going back to the volcanoes for a sec,
Yeah.
are there other things besides eruptions these sensors might be able to pick up on?
Actually, yes.
Really?
Researchers have found a connection between higher helium levels and earthquakes.
So we could have an early warning system for earthquakes too.
That's the idea.
This is getting really exciting.
It really is.
This is incredible.
And I think it's so important to remember these sensors aren't just about fancy technology.
Right.
They have the potential to save lives.
It is mind-blowing
Yeah.
that we're talking about something as simple as helium,
I know.
giving us the power to prepare for some of the most powerful forces on Earth.
It really highlights how these seemingly small scientific discoveries can have a truly massive impact.
Okay. I need a minute to process all this.
Take your time.
Wow, it really is amazing.
It is.
To think we're on the verge of being able to predict these massive events,
Yeah.
like volcanic eruptions and earthquakes,
Yeah.
with something as tiny as a helium sensor.
It really is a testament to how far we've come.
It is. It is.
And you know, this is just the beginning.
Oh, for sure.
Imagine a whole network of these He-Man sensors placed around volcanic areas.
Like a global early warning system.
Exactly.
Give people time to evacuate, to prepare.
Right. And think about integrating the helium readings into our earthquake prediction model.
Yeah, that's huge, the potential to minimize the impact of these natural disasters.
Absolutely.
And we can't forget about that super sensitive MEMS sensor either.
Oh, yeah.
Detecting leaks in things like nuclear facilities, spacecraft, pipelines.
It really has huge implications for safety and the environment.
It does.
It's almost like we're developing a whole new set of senses, ways of perceiving the world that we couldn't even imagine before.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
But with that, comes a whole new level of responsibility, too.
That's true, you're right.
Yeah.
It makes you realize how much we rely on science. Not just for understanding the world,
Right.
but for keeping us safe.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sometimes I think we take it for granted.
It's easy to do with how fast technology is advancing.
Yeah.
It's easy to become numb to it.
Yeah, you're right.
But when you stop and think about the ingenuity and dedication behind these breakthroughs, it's truly inspiring.
It really is.
It is.
Makes you wonder, what other secrets is the Earth holding?
That's a great question.
Could there be other signals, other gases maybe?
Well, scientists are already looking at that,
Oh.
studying other gases from volcanoes like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, as potential indicators of eruptions.
So helium's just one piece of the puzzle.
Right. It's about looking at the whole picture.
Yeah.
The entire symphony of signals the Earth is sending us.
I like that.
And as we get better at interpreting those signals, combining the sensor data with more advanced analysis and modeling, we'll be able to paint a clearer picture of what's happening beneath the surface.
And make even more accurate predictions.
Exactly.
You know what really strikes me about all this is the collaborative effort.
Yeah.
Scientists from all around the world working together, sharing their knowledge, pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
It's a powerful reminder that science can bring people together.
It really can.
Transcend borders, differences.
It's not just scientists, though, right?
No.
It's engineers, technicians, data analysts, policymakers.
It takes everyone working together to make these discoveries a reality.
Yeah, it's a beautiful example of what we can accomplish when we combine those different skills.
Absolutely.
And perspectives.
It really underscores our drive to understand the world around us.
Yeah.
And to use that knowledge for good.
It's a good reminder that science isn't just about these abstract theories,
right.
Equations.
Yeah.
It's about making a real difference, improving lives, protecting the planet.
Absolutely.
And these helium sensors really are a perfect example of that potential.
They are. But as remarkable as these discoveries are, they're just a stepping stone.
Oh, for sure.
They've opened up a whole new avenue for exploration, but with that comes a whole new set of questions.
Which brings us to the big question.
The big question.
What's next?
Next, right.
What other mysteries are out there just waiting to be uncovered?
Well, that's the beauty of science, isn't it?
It is.
There's always more to learn, always more to explore.
Always.
And these helium sensors, as groundbreaking as they are really just the beginning.
I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
Exploring the science behind these incredible helium sensors.
Yeah.
Their potential to change the world.
Absolutely.
But before we wrap up,
yeah,
I'd love to hear your final thoughts.
Okay.
What's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this deep dive?
If there's one thing I hope people listening take away from all this, it's that even the smallest things can have a huge impact.
Yeah.
We started talking about helium.
Right.
Usually we think balloons, funny voices.
Right.
But now we see it might help us unlock some of the Earth's deepest secrets.
Yeah.
And protect ourselves from these powerful natural forces.
It makes you think about how everything's connected.
It really does.
How something so small can be the key to understanding these huge events.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It really is.
And it shows us
we
still have so much to learn about our own planet.
For sure.
These sensors have opened a new door.
They have.
But they also show us just how much more there is to explore.
Makes you wonder what other connections we're missing.
Right.
What other breakthroughs are out there waiting for us?
Going And that's what's so great about science.
Yeah.
There's always another question waiting to be answered.
Always.
And I bet future generations are going to look back at these helium sensors as just the first step in a much longer journey.
It is pretty inspiring to think about.
It is.
What we might be able to accomplish in the future.
Who knows what we'll uncover?
Right.
But one thing's for sure.
What's that?
The more we understand about our planet, the better prepared we'll be for the challenges ahead.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And it goes back to what we talked about earlier, that collaborative spirit.
Yeah.
Scientists from all over the world working together, sharing knowledge.
Pushing each other further.
Pushing each other to think bigger, bolder.
It really highlights the power of human curiosity.
It does.
Our ingenuity.
Gives me hope for the future.
Me too. It's a good reminder that even when things feel divided,
Yeah.
we can still come together and do amazing things.
We can.
When we have a shared goal.
Well said.
Yeah.
And I think that brings us to the end of our deep dive.
I think you're right. We've covered a lot today. From the science behind these helium sensors to their potential to change the world.
Absolutely.
It's been a fascinating conversation.
It has.
And we hope everyone listening enjoyed it as much as we did.
If you're feeling inspired by what you heard today,
Yeah.
I encourage you to keep exploring.
Keep asking those questions.
Keep pushing the boundaries.
And who knows, maybe you'll make the next big discovery.
Maybe you will.
That's all for this deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.